third Sunday of Advent. While walking through the shore, the Master was continuously speaking about the unceasing love and providence of God. The disciple was a little bit bored to hear about that, for he always heard the Master speaking like that whenever he was with him. On the way they reached the little wooden bridge across the river. While talking and walking, the Master slipped his footstep and fell down into the river. The disciple stood there on the bridge hoping that God would come and save the Master from the rapidly flowing water. But nothing of that sort happened. When the head of the Master appeared out of the water for the second time, the disciple jumped into the river and saved the Master from drowning. While they were back on the shore, the disciple asked the Master, "Master, where was your God hiding when you were drowning in the river? Why didn't he come to your rescue?" The Master said, "Yes, my son, God came to my rescue and saved me from drowning. He did that through you. You have got clear eyesight, so you could see me falling into the river. You have got powerful arms and legs, so you could jump into the river and save me. Who blessed you with all those things? Surely, no one, other than God." In today's Gospel, John the Baptist sends some of his disciples to Jesus with a question: "Are you the Messiah? Or do we have to wait for someone else?" John the Baptist was the herald being sent by God to prepare the way for the Messiah. He lived a saintly life, free from any sins, and gave witness to God and truth. But he was imprisoned by King Herod Antipas when he spoke against the immoral life that the king was leading with his brother's wife. John was shut in an isolated prison in the Moab desert. The prison was called Machaerus. It was built near the Dead Sea. It was from this prison cell John the Baptist sent his disciples to Jesus with a question asking, "Are you the Messiah, or do we have to wait for another?" Why did John send his disciples to Jesus with such a question? A few months before the incident took place, the same John had given witness to Jesus as the Son of God and the Messiah. Then what happened to him to have a second thought? According to some scholars, when being shut in an isolated prison like Machaerus, John happened to undergo some kind of psychological torment in his life. That led him to doubt the integrity of Jesus as Messiah. For he thought, if Jesus was a Messiah who came to save mankind, why did he not come to save his herald from the awful prison cell? But the answer that Jesus gave to the question solved all his doubts. Jesus said, "The blind see, the deaf hear, the dead rise, and the good news is proclaimed to the poor." Hearing that, John the Baptist became totally convinced of the fact that Jesus was no one other than the Messiah, who was to come, and there is no need to wait for another. For he was sure that the things that had been reported as happened through the hands of Jesus cannot be done by an ordinary man, but God. The second answer to the question is, John the Baptist always thought about God and his glory. While he was in the prison, John happened to realize that his role as the herald to the Messiah was over, and it was the time for the Messiah. He wanted his disciples also to know about the greatness of the Messiah and cooperate with him in his mission to bring about salvation to mankind. So he sent his disciples to Jesus with the intention that they may join with him. What he intended, that really happened. For those who went to see Jesus became attracted by his personality and decided to stay with him as his disciples. Andrew was one among them. Later on, he brought his brother Peter to Jesus, saying that he saw the Messiah. Let us pray to Jesus to help us to continue his mission of bringing good news to the poor and needy, and never to keep away from him.